Hi, and welcome to this safeMedicate video tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll take a look at how to book or schedule an assessment for your learners. All assessment bookings are made from a single place, whether your learners are working with our essential or advanced skill modules. Okay, let's jump straight in and open the Assessment Manager. Hovering your mouse over the Assessment Manager menu opens up a sub-menu. Select the first option, Book Assessment. The first option to choose from is which type of assessment we want to schedule. So for this example, I'm going to choose Essential Skills 2018 ADA. Next, set the date on which you want the assessment to run using the calendar tool. Choose a start time by setting the sliders. These work using a 24-hour clock format. I'm going to set hours to 1400 hours. This defines the time when the assessment becomes available. Next, use the slider to set the assessment duration. This is the time period in which your learners must complete the assessment once they have started. I'm going to set hours to 2 hours. Assessment availability defines the time that the assessment remains active for once it has become available. For example, if you set this to 8 hours, it means that your students may begin the assessment any time between 1400 hours, the start time, to 8 hours later. Irrespective of when a learner starts within this period, they will be limited to the time you set for the duration to actually complete the assessment. Think of availability as a window of opportunity to start the assessment. Once the availability period has passed, the assessment becomes closed to anyone who's not yet started. Next, choose whether you want this assessment booking to repeat. The default option is never. You can though choose to repeat the assessment daily for a set period of days or weekly for a set period of weeks. Setting an assessment to repeat in this way will replicate the booking daily or weekly. This can be useful, for example, if you are setting a series of formative assessments for a student group. Remember, it is only the assessment booking that is replicated. The questions that the students will get will be randomly drawn from our extensive database of dosage problems. Each assessment will therefore have a different question set. Our last option for the assessment schedule is to choose whether it is visible to students. If this is checked, students receive notification of the upcoming assessment date and time when they are logged into their portal. If you want to book assessments in advance and only alert students a little closer to the assessment date, you can leave this unchecked at this stage and choose to make it visible later. Next, we move on to the user details. So this is where you select the learner group that will do the assessment. Start by choosing the cohort start year. Next, choose the student's cohort. If you have only one intake per year, then this will likely be cohort A. If you have 2 cohorts a year, then the second cohort will usually be coded as B. Last, choose the student's group. Once you have selected the start year and cohort, then this list box will show only those groups that are associated within the year cohort combination. You can select a single group if you want this assessment to be available to only a specific group of students. If it's to be available to all students in that year and cohort combination, then choose all groups. Okay. So now we move on to the options of the assessment itself. First, give it a title. This is just a name to help you identify it more easily. This will help differentiate, for example, 2 assessments scheduled for the same day. Next, choose whether you want an on-screen calculator to be available to your students during the assessment. If you select this option and the students use the calculator, safeMedicate will record values and operations input by the students. This can be really helpful in trying to understand why students are making mistakes despite having a calculator available. Next, choose an assessment format. Formats A, B and C comprise a predefined mix and number of problems. For example, a Format A assessment comprises 40 problems, 10 each from tablets and capsules, liquid medicines, injections and IV infusions. Click the question mark symbol alongside each to check what each comprises if you need more information. Now, choose whether the assessment is formative or summative. Select formative if you want users to receive immediate online feedback on their performance as soon as they complete the assessment. Select summative if you want to withhold the assessment results and feedback until a later date. for example, following an examination board. Keep the feedback available option unchecked if you plan to release feedback on a summative assessment at a later date. This can be changed when you are ready to. Next, choose the area of practice. This option determines the type of medication and complexity level of question that will appear in the assessment. For example, choosing progression point 1 will construct an assessment with the problems drawn from all medication domains except IV infusions, and problem complexity including unit dose problems, sub and multiple unit dose, and problems requiring conversions of SI units. Again, click the question mark symbol if you are unsure what these options mean. Next, choose whether the assessment should show rounding hints. Checking this option will make rounding hints available to learners during the assessment. Next, choose whether learners should have multiple attempts at the assessment. This option only becomes available when you set the assessment as formative. If you want to allow multiple attempts, then check the box and enter a value for the number of attempts as shown on screen. Lastly, choose a password for your assessment. Typically, this password will be told to the chosen group prior to them commencing the assessment and ensures access to the assessment is limited to that particular group. When all done, click the Submit button to save your assessment booking. You'll receive a confirmation message that the assessment has been added to the system. That's it for now. We hope you found this video tutorial helpful. Check out others in the series for explanations on other safeMedicate functions and features.